The year is 1401, and the vampire territories spanning France and the Holy Roman Empire have been locked in blood for 4 centuries. House Ravenna and House Sterling, two ancient clans whose hatred runs so deep that neither side remembers why they began killing each other in the first place. Only that they must. That the enemy is evil incarnate. That every death demands another death in return. Lady Bella Ravenna stands in her father's study, and the world as she knows it is ending. "You're sending me to him?" Her voice breaks on the last word. Not a question, really. The decision has already been made. She can see it in the set of her father's shoulders, the way he won't quite meet her eyes. Lord Victor Ravenna, master of House Ravenna, turns from the window where he's been watching the moonlit courtyard. He looks older than his 400 years tonight. Tired. "To King Vlad Sterling, yes. It's the price of peace, Bella. A marriage alliance." "A sacrifice, you mean?" She's trembling now, can't seem to stop. "You're trading me to a monster to buy a treaty." "I'm asking you to save thousands of lives." His voice is gentle, which somehow makes it worse. "The war has gone on too long. We're all exhausted, both sides. The neutral mediators have finally gotten Sterling to agree to negotiate. This is the only way." Bella thinks of the stories she's heard her entire life. Stories of King Vlad Sterling, the tyrant of House Sterling. How he personally executed Ravenna prisoners. How he burned villages and showed no mercy. How he's incapable of love or kindness, only cruelty and conquest. "He'll hurt me." "You're strong. You'll endure." Her father crosses to her, takes her hands in his. They're cold. Everything is cold. "You'll be the one who finally ends this war, Bella. Your sacrifice will be remembered for centuries. You'll save our people." "But I don't want to be remembered," she thinks. "I want to be safe. I want to be home." She doesn't say it. What would be the point? The decision is made. House Ravenna needs peace, and she is the price. Her mother helps her pack, moving through Bella's chambers with quiet efficiency, selecting gowns, jewelry, personal items, the things a bride takes to her new home. Except this isn't a home she's going to. It's a prison. "Be brave," her mother whispers, folding a silk chemise with shaking hands. "Be strong. Remember who you are. You are House Ravenna. Whatever he does to you, you will survive it." Bella wants to scream, wants to run, wants to beg them not to send her. But she's 124 years old, young for a vampire, but old enough to understand duty. Old enough to know that sometimes you don't get a choice. Her brother finds her the night before she's meant to leave. Marcus, who taught her to fight, who used to make her laugh when their parents' expectations grew too heavy. He looks at her with such anguish that she almost breaks. "I tried to volunteer to go in your place," he says. "Father refused. Said it has to be you. That Sterling specifically demanded a daughter of House Ravenna." "It's fine." The lie tastes bitter. "I'll be fine." "Bella." He grips her shoulders, forces her to meet his eyes. "Keep a knife hidden. If he tries to hurt you..." "I know." She does. She knows exactly what her family expects will happen to her in Sterling's castle. "I'll fight if I have to." "Die with honor if you must," his voice cracks. "Don't let him break you." The journey to Sterling territory takes 3 nights. Bella rides in a carriage with 2 Ravenna guards, moving through the autumn countryside in silence. She watches the landscape change as they cross from Ravenna lands into neutral ground, then finally into Sterling territory. The trees here look the same. The moon shines the same silver light. It's strange to think that the enemy's world looks so much like home. When Sterling Castle comes into view on the 4th night, Bella's breath catches. It's enormous, dark stone towers rising against the night sky, lit windows glowing like eyes watching their approach. It looks like something out of a nightmare. This is where she'll live now, where she'll spend eternity, however long that lasts. The wedding ceremony is held the following night. Both clans gather in Sterling's Great Hall, Ravenna vampires on one side, Sterling vampires on the other, the aisle between them a chasm of 400 years of hatred. Bella walks that aisle alone, her father having returned to Ravenna lands immediately after delivering her. She wears white, though it feels more like a funeral shroud than a wedding gown. King Vlad Sterling waits at the altar. This is the first time Bella has seen him up close. He's tall, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, appears perhaps 28, though she knows he's actually 328 years old. His face is carefully blank, revealing nothing. She can't tell if he's pleased or angry or indifferent about this marriage. Can't tell if he's already planning what he'll do to her once they're alone. They speak their vows without looking at each other. The words feel hollow, meaningless. A political transaction dressed up as a sacrament. When it's done, when they're pronounced husband and wife before both clans, Vlad takes her hand. His grip is firm but not painful. That surprises her somehow. The reception is awkward, tense. Vampires from both sides watch each other with suspicion, centuries of propaganda telling them the people across the room are monsters. Bella barely eats, can't manage conversation. She's aware of time passing, of the night growing later, of what comes next drawing closer. Finally, inevitably, a Sterling servant approaches. "Your Majesty, your lady, your chambers are prepared." This is it then, the moment she's been dreading. Bella follows Vlad through the castle corridors, her heart hammering so hard she's surprised he can't hear it. He must be able to hear it. Vampire senses are too acute to miss. Her terror. He opens the door to what must be his private chambers. Their chambers now, she supposes. Large rooms, richly furnished. A massive bed dominates one wall. Bella stares at it and feels sick. Vlad closes the door behind them. They're alone now. No guards, no witnesses, no one to hear her if she screams. She turns to face him, lifting her chin. If he's going to hurt her, she won't make it easy. Won't give him the satisfaction of seeing her cower. But Vlad doesn't move toward her. Instead, he crosses to the window, looks out at the night. His posture is tired. Just tired. "You don't have to be afraid," he says quietly. Bella almost laughs. Almost. "What are you going to do to me?" "Nothing you don't consent to." He turns to look at her then, and his expression is weary. "I won't force you into anything, whatever your family told you." The words knock the air from her lungs. She stares at him, searching for the lie, the trap. "What?" "I know what House Ravenna teaches about House Sterling. That we're monsters, torturers, demons without honor or mercy. I imagine you've heard terrible things about me specifically." His voice is matter-of-fact, almost resigned. "About what I do to you." Yes. The admission comes out small, uncertain. Most of it is lies. Some of it is war propaganda. Exaggerations of things that happened in battle, stripped of context and twisted to make me look like a monster. He meets her eyes steadily. "I'm not saying I'm innocent. I've killed Ravenna warriors. I've burned Ravenna villages that were supplying enemy troops with weapons and shelter. I've done things in war that I'm not proud of, things that haunt me. But I'm not the monster your family described. I'm not going to hurt you." "How do I know that?" Bella's voice is shaking now. "How do I know this isn't, that you're not just—" "You don't. You have no reason to trust me. But I'm going to prove it to you." He gestures to the bed, and Bella tenses, but he continues. "You'll rest there tonight. I'll remain by the fire. We'll share intimacy when and if you choose to, not before. For now, we're strangers who've been forced into a political alliance. Let's start there." Bella feels tears threatening and blinks them back furiously. This isn't what she expected. None of this is what she expected. "Why are you being kind to me?" Something flickers across Vlad's face. Pain, maybe, or regret. "Because you're terrified, and it's not your fault. You didn't choose this war, neither did I." We inherited it from parents and grandparents and ancestors going back 4 centuries. The least I can do is not make you suffer for it too." That night, Bella lies in Vlad's bed alone, still wearing her wedding gown because she can't manage to undress, and stares at the ceiling. Across the room, Vlad stands by the fireplace, reading a book as if this is perfectly normal. As if it's perfectly reasonable for a vampire king to spend his wedding night standing by a fire so his terrified bride can feel safe. She doesn't rest. Can't. Every sound makes her tense, waiting for him to change his mind, to cross the room, to become the monster she was promised he'd be. But he never does. He just stands there, reading, occasionally adding wood to the fire, giving her space. When dawn approaches and they must both seek shelter from the lethal daylight, he finally speaks. "There are servants who'll help you settle in tomorrow night. If you need anything, ask them. You're free to move through the castle as you please. You're not a prisoner here, Bella." She wants to argue that she is a prisoner, that she was sent here against her will, that she's trapped. But he's been nothing but respectful, and the words won't come. "Thank you," she manages instead. He nods, then disappears through a door she assumes leads to another light-proof chamber. Leaving her alone in his bed, unharmed, the first weeks in Stirling Castle pass in a haze of confusion. Bella can't reconcile what she was taught about House Stirling with what she actually observes. The Stirling vampires aren't monsters. They're just vampires, living their lives. They have jobs, hobbies, friendships. They laugh and argue and fall in love. They mourn their dead and celebrate their victories. They're people. The castle isn't a torture dungeon. It's a functioning estate with libraries and gardens and workshops. There's art on the walls, music in the evenings. It's beautiful in its way, and Vlad is nothing like what she expected. He's thoughtful, intelligent, occasionally even funny in a dry way that catches her off guard. He asks her opinions on matters of state, listens when she speaks, never dismisses her because she's Ravenna, or because she's his wife, or because she's younger than him. He treats her like an equal. He also never pressures her physically, never demands his rights as a husband. They rest in separate chambers during the day. He insisted on it the second night, said it wasn't appropriate for her to feel unsafe in her own space. They share meals sometimes, take walks in the garden when night falls. He's teaching her about Stirling territory, introducing her to his people. But he maintains a careful distance, never presuming, never pushing. It's driving her crazy. Because everything she was taught is contradicted by everything she sees, and she doesn't know what to believe anymore. 6 weeks after the wedding, Bella finally confronts him. They're in the library. Vlad is reading, as he often does, and she's supposed to be reading too, but she can't concentrate. Can't stop thinking about the disconnect between the propaganda she was raised on and the man sitting across from her. "Why aren't you the monster my family described?" Vlad looks up from his book, one eyebrow raised slightly. "What did they tell you I'd do to you? That you'd hurt me, use me, that you're incapable of kindness or honor, that Stirling vampires are brutal and cruel, that they torture prisoners. For sport, that you personally—" She stops, can't quite finish that sentence. "That I killed my last wife?" Vlad's voice is quiet. "I've heard that one. For the record, I've never been married before. This is my first time." "Oh." Bella feels heat rise to her cheeks, which is absurd. Vampires don't blush easily. "They said—" "I know what they said. And I'm sure it's terrible and specific and designed to make you fear me." He sets his book aside, gives her his full attention. "What have you observed since arriving here?" "That you're not what I expected, that your people are ordinary, that this place is nothing like what I was taught to expect." "Then maybe your family lied to you." The words hit like a physical blow. Bella feels something crack inside her chest. "My father wouldn't. He's honorable. He's been raised on the same propaganda you were. and he helps perpetuate it because it serves the war effort. Propaganda is a weapon, Bella. Both sides use it. Vlad leans forward slightly. I was raised being told that House Ravenna are treacherous cowards who murder under flags of truce, that they poison wells and eliminate diplomats, that they have no honor, that they can't be trusted, that they're fundamentally evil. Is that true? Bella thinks of her family, her father who rules with wisdom and justice, her brother who fights with honor, her mother who taught her compassion. No, that's not true. That's horrible. Then why would you believe that what House Ravenna says about House Sterling is any more accurate? The question hangs in the air between them. Bella has no answer, because the foundation of her entire worldview is cracking, crumbling, and she doesn't know what to build in its place. I don't understand, she whispers. If both sides are lying, then what's the truth? Why are we even fighting? That, Vlad says softly, is exactly the question I've been trying to answer for 200 years. Something shifts in the room, in their relationship. They're not captor and captive anymore, not enemy king and sacrificial bride. They're both victims of the same lies, both searching for the same truth. Help me find it, Bella says. The words surprise her, but once they're out, she knows they're right. You have access to Sterling's historical records. I know how Ravenna justifies the war. If we compare them, if we investigate, we might actually find the truth. Vlad's expression transforms, from resigned weariness to something like hope. Yes. Would you want to do this together? I think we have to. Bella extends her hand across the space between their chairs. Partners in investigation? Vlad takes her hand. His grip is warm, steady. Partners. Over the following months, their investigation becomes an obsession. They spend every night in the library, surrounded by ancient texts, comparing records, tracking down sources. Vlad sends letters to neutral vampire observers who lived through various decades of the war. Bella analyzes 4 centuries of Ravenna propaganda, seeing the patterns she was too close to notice before. They work side by side, debating interpretations, challenging each other's assumptions. Bella finds herself looking forward to these sessions. Vlad is brilliant, sharp and insightful, and willing to question everything, even his own beliefs. He makes her think harder than anyone in her life ever has. She's also starting to see him differently, not as the enemy king, just as Vlad, a vampire who was handed a crown and a war he never asked for, who spent 2 centuries trying to understand why thousands have died for a conflict neither side can justify, who's kind to servants and thoughtful with his counsel, and reads philosophy books in his spare time because he's searching for answers to questions about justice and power and responsibility, who looks at her sometimes when he thinks she's focused on a document, and the expression on his face is so tender it makes her breath catch. 6 months into their investigation, they find it. A neutral vampire merchant's journal from the year 1001, 50 years before the journal writer's own death, so close to the actual events. The merchant describes witnessing the origin of the Ravenna-Sterling feud. Bella reads the entry aloud, her voice growing quieter with each sentence. 2 vampire lords, Aldrich Ravenna and Gareth Sterling, both claimed hunting rights to the same forest territory. Neither would compromise. A physical altercation broke out. Gareth killed Aldrich. Aldrich's sons swore vengeance and killed Gareth's brother in retaliation. The families escalated from there. She stops, looks up at Vlad. He's staring at the journal with an expression of such profound devastation that she wants to reach for him, to comfort him somehow. 400 years, he says finally. His voice is hollow. Thousands upon thousands of deaths. 4 centuries of hatred and violence and grief. All of this over hunting rights to a forest that doesn't even exist anymore. It burned down 2 centuries ago in a wildfire. Bella feels something breaking inside her. Grief, maybe, or rage. or both. My father sent me here, believing he was saving our people from monsters. Your warriors have been fighting, believing they're defending against treacherous enemies, and it's all meaningless. It's all built on a lie that kept growing and growing until no one remembered it was a lie. Both sides escalated equally. Vlad runs a hand through his hair, looking older than his 3+ centuries. Both committed atrocities. Both wrote histories that cast themselves as victims and the other as aggressors. We've been destroying each other for 400 years over a property dispute that started with two proud men who couldn't share a forest. They sit in silence for a long time. Bella feels tears sliding down her cheeks and doesn't bother to wipe them away. Vlad's hands are shaking where they rest on the ancient journal. Finally, Bella speaks. What do we do with this? I don't know. Vlad looks at her and his eyes are full of pain. If we reveal this, it destroys both our families' narratives. Your father will learn he sent his daughter to the enemy based on lies. My council will have to acknowledge that Sterling isn't innocent, that we're just as guilty as Ravenna. Good. The word comes out fierce. They should know. Everyone should know. We can't build real peace on a foundation of lies. Over the following weeks, they continue investigating with new purpose. Now that they know what they're looking for, the evidence is everywhere. Both sides exaggerating enemy atrocities while omitting their own equivalent actions. Both sides teaching children simplified narratives about evil enemies. Both clans maintaining the war through hatred education, passed down through generations. They find records of Ravenna attacking Sterling villages, justified in Ravenna histories as military targets, but described by neutral observers as civilian populations. They find records of Sterling burning Ravenna territories, justified as strategic necessity, but clearly war crimes by any honest assessment. Neither side has moral high ground. Both have committed horrors. Both have lied about it. Both have built their identities on being victims of an evil enemy, when the truth is far more complicated and far more damning. My father died fighting this war, Vlad says one night. They're in the library again, always the library now. It's become their place. He was killed in battle against Ravenna forces when I was 128. I inherited the throne and the war and the hatred. I've been fighting for 200 years because I thought it mattered. Because I thought we were defending ourselves against an evil enemy. And it was all for nothing. My whole life, I was taught that Sterling vampires are monsters, Bella whispers. That you're the enemy, that you're evil, that everything bad in our world is your fault. I was raised on that lie, shaped by it, and now I don't know who I am without it. They've uncovered a truth that invalidates both their lives, both their identities. It's devastating. It's also liberating in a strange way. Vlad looks at her across the table covered in ancient documents. I need to tell you something. Bella's heart jumps. What? I've been in love with you for months now. His voice is steady, but she can see vulnerability in his eyes. I didn't say anything because you were forced into this marriage. I didn't want to pressure you, didn't want you to feel obligated. But working with you these past months, seeing how brilliant you are, how brave, how you're willing to question everything you were taught even when it hurts. He stops, swallows hard. I'm in love with you, Bella. Not because of politics or duty, because you're extraordinary. Bella can't breathe, can't think. Her heart is hammering and her hands are shaking, and she's terrified and elated and overwhelmed all at once. I don't hate you, she says. The words tumble out in a rush. I thought I would forever. I was raised to hate you, to hate all of Sterling. But I don't. I actually care about you, more than I should, more than is probably wise. How much more? Vlad's voice is soft, careful. I love you. The admission feels like jumping off a cliff. I've fallen in love with you. You're brilliant and kind, and you see the truth even when it's painful. You're the only person who understands what this discovery means. The only one who knows how it feels to have your entire worldview shattered. I'm choosing you, Vlad. Not because of the marriage treaty. Because you're you. Vlad stands, crosses the space between them in 3 strides. He cups her face in his hands, searching her eyes. Are you sure? Because once we do this, I don't want you to regret it. Don't want you to wake up tomorrow and feel like I took advantage. Bella kisses him, cuts off his worried words with her lips on his, and it's like lightning through her veins, like coming alive after a century of existing. He makes a sound low in his throat and kisses her back, desperate and tender and perfect. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Bella says, I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything. That night, they truly become husband and wife, not as enemies forced together by politics, but as partners who've chosen each other, as 2 people who've found love in the ruins of hatred, who've built connection across the chasm of 400 years of lies. Afterward, lying in his arms in his bed, their bed now, Bella feels something she hasn't felt since she left home. Safe, cherished, like she belongs. We have to tell them, she says quietly. Both clans. We have to reveal the truth. Vlad tightens his arms around her. It will be dangerous. There are vampires on both sides who profit from the war. Military leaders, weapons suppliers, propagandists. They'll fight us. Your father will be devastated when he learns he was manipulated by lies. I know, but thousands have died for this lie. Thousands more will die if we don't stop it. If we let the next generation inherit this hatred like we did. Bella turns in his arms to face him. We have to expose the propaganda, show both sides the truth, and build something better. Real peace. Not just a treaty, but actual understanding. We could lose everything, Vlad warns. Your family might disown you for betraying them. My council might demand my abdication. We could end up with nothing. Then we'll have nothing together. Bella kisses him softly. But at least we'll have told the truth. They make the decision together, there in the dark. Expose the lies, reform both clans, build genuine peace. Whatever the cost. Calling a joint council takes weeks of negotiation. Neither side trusts the other enough to gather in one place. Finally, they agree on neutral territory, an ancient meeting hall that belongs to no clan. The night of the council, Bella stands beside Vlad and looks out at the assembled vampires. Ravenna on one side, Sterling on the other. 400 years of hatred filling the space between them. Her father is here. She can see him in the front row of the Ravenna delegation, his expression carefully neutral. Her brother beside him, her mother. All of them watching her, waiting to see what this is about. Bella takes a breath, begins. I was sent to House Sterling as a peace bride 6 months ago. My father told me I was being sacrificed to save our people. I believed House Sterling were monsters. I was wrong. Murmurs ripple through the Ravenna side. Her father's expression doesn't change, but she sees his hands tighten on the arms of his chair. Vlad continues, his voice carrying through the chamber. I was raised believing House Ravenna were treacherous enemies without honor. I believed every act of violence Sterling committed was justified defense against Ravenna aggression. I was wrong. Now the Sterling side reacts. Angry muttering, shocked whispers. Vlad's counsel looks betrayed. Together they present their findings. The Merchant's Journal describing the mundane origin of the feud, a property dispute, a fight, escalating vengeance. Documents proving both sides exaggerated atrocities and omitted their own crimes. Evidence of sophisticated propaganda machines on both sides. Testimony from neutral observers showing that both clans are equally guilty. For 400 years, Bella says, her voice ringing through the chamber, we've been killing each other over a forest that no longer exists. Both sides have lied to you. Both sides have manipulated you with propaganda designed to keep you fighting. Both sides have committed war crimes and then rewrote history to cast themselves as victims. Every death, Vlad adds, every sacrifice, every act of vengeance was for nothing. There is no good side and evil side in this war. There are only two clans trapped in a cycle of violence built on lies that we've all been too afraid or too proud to question. The chamber erupts. Shouts of denial from both sides, accusations of treason, demands for proof. Bella and Vlad present document after document, testimony after testimony, building an undeniable case. Lord Victor stands. The room falls silent. You're telling me, he says, his voice shaking, that I sent my daughter to the enemy, to a man I believed was a monster? Based on lies? Yes, Bella says softly. You were lied to, Father. We all were. The war has continued for so long that no one alive remembers the truth. We've all just inherited the hatred and assumed it was justified. A Sterling military commander jumps to his feet. This is treason! You're undermining 4 centuries of Sterling sacrifice. You're dishonoring the memory of our warriors. No, Vlad says firmly. I'm honoring them by refusing to let more vampires die for a lie. Our warriors deserve better than 2. Have their deaths be meaningless. The only way to give their sacrifice meaning is to end this cycle and build real peace. The debate rages for hours. Some vampires refuse to accept the truth, clinging to the old narratives because they're more comfortable than the alternative. Others feel betrayed. They fought, believing they were defending innocence, and learning it was all propaganda breaks something in them. Still others feel relief. The burden of hatred lifted, the weight of inherited war finally explained. When the council finally ends in the early morning hours before dawn, nothing is resolved. Both clans are split between those ready to accept truth and those who prefer comfortable lies. But the truth is out there now. It can't be taken back. Lord Victor finds Bella before she and Vlad leave. He looks 10 years older than when they arrived. I sent you to what I believed was hell. I forced you into marriage with a man I believed was a monster, and I told myself it was noble. I'm so sorry, Bella. You were lied to, Father. We all were. That doesn't excuse what I did to you. The terror I put you through, the weeks you spent thinking. His voice breaks. I failed you as a father. You didn't know. Bella takes his hands. And something good came from it. I found love. I found truth. I found a partner who sees the world clearly and wants to make it better. The marriage you forced became the best thing that ever happened to me. Victor looks at Vlad, who stands a respectful distance away. Thank you for treating her better than I expected, better than I deserved to hope for. She's the most extraordinary person I've ever met, Vlad says simply. I didn't treat her well because of the treaty. I treated her well because she deserves it. Not everyone accepts the truth. Powerful vampires on both sides who profit from the war, propaganda ministers, military leaders who derive status from being war heroes, merchants who supply weapons, ideologues too invested in the old narratives to abandon them, form a resistance movement. They attempt a coup 3 months after the revelation. Simultaneous attacks on both Bella and Vlad designed to kill them and restart the war. The attempt fails. Because something unprecedented happens. Ravenna warriors and Sterling soldiers work together to protect the couple. Vampires who spent centuries as enemies fight side by side against the resistance forces. When the dust settles, when the resistance leaders are captured and the threat is ended, Bella and Vlad stand in the courtyard of Sterling Castle, surrounded by an alliance that would have been impossible a year ago. "We did it," Bella whispers. "We actually changed things." "You changed things," Vlad corrects, pulling her close. "You were brave enough to question everything, to demand the truth even when it was painful, to choose love over hatred." "We did it together." Bella leans into him, watches the sun begin to rise over the horizon. "They'll need to go inside soon, seek shelter from the lethal daylight. But for now, in the pre-dawn darkness, they stand together. We exposed the lies, united the clans, proved that inherited hatred isn't destiny." 5 years pass. House Ravenna and House Sterling are now allied clans governing jointly. They hold combined councils where representatives from both sides make decisions affecting their territories. Intermarriage between the clans is common now. Former enemies falling in love, building families that bridge the old divide. Children are taught the true history, including both clans' guilt. No more propaganda. No more simplified narratives about evil enemies. Just the complicated, messy truth that their ancestors fought a pointless war for 4 centuries, and it's their generation's responsibility to do better. The forest where it all started, or rather, where a new forest has grown in its place, is now a memorial garden. Stone markers list the names of vampires killed in the war. Both Ravenna and Sterling names carved together. The inscription reads, "They died for a lie. We live for the truth." Bella, now appearing in her late 20s, though she's chronologically 174, walks through the garden at Vlad's side. His appearance has also matured slightly. He looks early 30s now, 378 years of existence behind his eyes. "Do you ever regret it?" Bella asks. They're alone in the garden, the moon full overhead. "Exposing the truth? We could have kept it hidden, lived quietly. No one would have known." "Never." Vlad takes her hand, laces their fingers together. Peace built on lies isn't real peace. It's just a pause between wars. The truth was necessary. Painful, but necessary. "I miss him sometimes," Bella admits. "My father. It took him 2 years to forgive himself for sending me here. We're rebuilding our relationship now, but those years were hard." "I know. I'm sorry." "Don't be. He's changed. He's become the biggest advocate for teaching true history to the next generation. He's working harder than anyone to make sure what happened to us never happens again." Bella squeezes Vlad's hand. "Besides, what I lost in one family dynamic, I gained in another. You're my family now. Our people, both Ravenna and Sterling, are my family." "Our people," Vlad echoes and smiles. After 5 years, the phrase still feels miraculous. "Do you know what the council is calling you? The Peace Queen. They say you're the one who united the clans." "We united them, together." Bella stops walking, turns to face him. "You taught me that truth is more valuable than comfort, that love built on honesty is worth any sacrifice, that the hardest things, exposing lies, admitting guilt, changing everything, are sometimes the most necessary. You taught me that the enemy I was raised to hate could become the person I love most." Vlad cups her face in his hands, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. "That inherited hatred isn't destiny. that two people willing to question everything can change the world. They kiss there in the memorial garden, surrounded by the names of vampires who died for a lie. Above them, the moon shines silver light on a world that's healing. It will take generations to fully undo 4 centuries of damage, but they've started. They've proven it's possible. "I love you," Bella whispers against his lips. "I love you," Vlad whispers back. "My peace bride, my partner, my queen. Forever? Forever." 50 years later, a young vampire student in the joint Ravenna-Sterling Academy asks her history teacher, "How did the 400-year war finally end?" The elderly vampire teaching the class, someone who lived through the transition, who remembers the council where Lady Bella and King Vlad revealed the truth, smiles. 2 people chose truth over lies. A peace bride and an enemy king discovered they'd both been raised on propaganda. They investigated together, found the uncomfortable truth, and had the courage to expose it, even knowing it would devastate their families and potentially cost them everything. "That seems so simple," the student says. "Why didn't anyone do it earlier?" "Because truth is threatening, child. Admitting you were wrong is painful. Acknowledging that people you love lied to you, or were lied to themselves and passed those lies to you, is devastating. It's much easier to keep believing comfortable lies than to face hard truths." Lady Bella and King Vlad chose pain over comfort. That's what made them heroes. Are they still alive? Very much so. They live quietly now. Queen Bella writes histories, and King Vlad mentors young leaders. But they changed everything. The peace bride, who was supposed to be a sacrifice, became a queen. The enemy king, who was supposed to be a monster, became a reformer. Together, they proved that love can overcome inherited hatred if you're willing to question everything you were taught. Outside the academy, in a small cottage near the memorial garden, Bella and Vlad sit together reading during the night hours. They've stepped back from active leadership in recent decades, preferring quiet scholarship to politics. But their legacy lives on in every child raised without hatred, in every friendship between Ravenna and Sterling vampires, in every generation that refuses to repeat the mistakes of the past. "Listen to this," Bella says, reading from the history she's been writing. "They died for a lie. But from that lie grew truth. From that hatred grew love. From that war grew peace. Not perfect peace. Peace is never perfect, never final, always requiring work. But real peace, built on honesty and effort and the courage to admit uncomfortable truths." "That's beautiful," Vlad says softly. "Is it finished?" "Almost. I'm writing the epilogue now." Bella sets down her pen, leans against her husband of 76 years. "I want to end it with hope, with the promise that it's possible to break cycles of violence, to choose love over hatred, to build something better. We did that. We actually did that. We did." Bella tilts her head up to kiss him. After 7 decades of marriage, the gesture is familiar but never routine. Every kiss still feels like a gift, like defying the hatred they were supposed to inherit. "We were forced together by politics, stayed together for love, and accidentally started a revolution along the way." "Best accident I ever made," Vlad murmurs against her lips. "Best sacrifice I ever became," Bella murmurs back. They sit together in their cottage as night deepens outside. 2 vampires who were raised to be enemies, forced into marriage by politics, who fell in love while discovering truth, who changed their entire world by refusing to accept the lies they inherited. Their story has become legend now, the peace bride and the enemy king, the alliance that became love, the forced marriage that ended a war. Not through weapons, not through conquest, but through truth, courage, and choosing love over hatred. through two people brave enough to question everything, honest enough to face uncomfortable answers, and loving enough to sacrifice comfort for what's right. The war that lasted 4 centuries ended because of them. The peace that will last for centuries more exists because of them. And every night in the memorial garden where vampires once died for a lie, new flowers bloom under the moonlight, a reminder that even from the deepest darkness, beauty can grow. If you're willing to choose truth, if you're willing to choose love, if you're willing to choose each other, again and again, no matter the cost. Bella and Vlad chose, and in choosing, they changed the world.